Hey folks, how's it going? Roy Lopez Jr. with 90 Live SA. We're in studio today, and if you'll notice, we've actually got a guest, my good friend and compadre over here, Angel Rivera. Angel, welcome.
Hello,
thanks
how
for
you
coming
doing,
out
Mr.
today.
Lopez?
Appreciate it.
Junior?
Listen, yeah, don't forget the Junior, man. Listen, guys, I brought Angel out here today because we got a new segment coming up called 90 Live Sports, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But before we get started, I'm going to tell you something. We had a hellacious weekend. This last weekend was one of those weekends where it was like, what are we going to do next? I mean, this is the time of the year, Angel, and this is why I brought you out here, because this is the time of the year that we have all the combination of sports going on. We've got basketball. The Spurs were in town. They had a fantastic game on Friday. They kicked some butt. We've got football going on. College football was something else over the weekend. And then, of course, pro football. So that's pretty much how the whole weekend was spent. And I want to talk about the sports. So I got Angel out here. He knows a lot about sports. And you know what? Let's kick it off with the Spurs. Angel?
I'm really looking forward to the Spurs season. I'd like to see how they're going to mesh with one more year experience, especially with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that's a really, really good player. I really like Kawhi. And then we have that Nando de Colon.
Is that how it says his name?
I have no idea.
I just call him NC for short.
I don't pay attention. I don't know what language he actually speaks. So.
Well, you know that's the beauty of our team. You talk about diversity on our team. I think we ought to change our name to the International Spurs.
It's really weird when like half the team has to take ESOL. You know?
What's ESOL?
English as a second language.
I thought it was funny just using the letter. I was like, hey, you know what? Some of them are POWs. Yeah. No, people on welfare.
Well, that's the fans. That's not the team.
That's the fan zone.
You're no kidding.
They had $5 tickets for Friday, so.
Yeah, because they played the Rockets.
Well, 90 Live SA's the budget is somewhat limited, so
we're pretty much outside asking for miracles, like we're at a Grateful Dead concert. Like, hey, I need a miracle, and everybody got free tickets.
But the Spurs are off to a good start. Their preseason, they played Houston yesterday, and then they won. So they're off to a good start. Of course, everybody always says, hey, preseason this, preseason that. Doesn't mean anything. The real season starts. But we've got some more depth. We've got some better players.
Well,
and you know, we're
off the bench. Our biggest problem really is going to be still the backup role for Tony Parker. They don't know if they're going to give Colon the minutes. They're trying to make Gary Neal the backup point guard, but he's really more of a natural shooting guard. So that's going to be a little interesting. And who knows what's going to happen with Corey Joseph. He spent most of last year in Austin playing for the Toros. But the job is up. I mean, if he was really, really good, the job would be his to lose. But it's not. He's still struggling to try to find his place on this first team. It happened to James Anderson for the 2 years he was here. He just couldn't break into that rotation once Denny Green really came along. So we're going to see how that runs. DeJuan Blair, is he going to show up the full season and the postseason?
Yeah.
He has a tendency to fade out.
But he didn't play much in the postseason.
Again, because he got in Pop's doghouse. That just seems to be the way it is for him. You can't really try to play Thiago Splitter 38 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's good for about half. For about half the game.
I like Thiago. I really do.
I like our core team. Mm-hmm. And then the first backups now. Yeah, but they need more playing time. I think the only thing that I find ironic is that they played them. Coach was doing his substitutions throughout.
Yeah, throughout.
And then we hit the playoffs and.
Well, we rolled through the playoffs. We rolled through the first two rounds. It was sweep and sweep. What happened was we just ran into a better team in the Thunder. I thought the Thunder played awesome.
The games were fantastic, but we weren't rotating as much.
That's true.
We weren't, moving our players along. So I don't know. We're hoping for a better season this year.
I'm hoping for a better season. And well, the thing is that the West got better simply because Dwight Howard and Steve Nash are now on the Lakers.
Well, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I really want to see them self-implode.
Yeah. Well, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, did you hear that one joke? It's like the new NBA 2013 game is so realistic, the pass button doesn't work when Kobe has the ball.
Well, we'll see what happens. Hey, let's go ahead and transition into the playoffs for baseball. I'm telling you something. I witnessed a game the other day. That game, the Cardinals coming from behind.
That was nice.
After being down 6-0. Now, I mean, that's typical. They've done that all season long.
They have a great starting rotation with Carpenter and the others, and they just battle along like
the pitching
crazy.
staff is awesome. I think I've said it all season long. I think they have the best overall pitching staff of any of the teams that are in the playoffs this year.
I agree. Because after with the Yankees, they rely too much on Sabathia to try to get into the playoffs when it comes to their pitching rotation. Hughes just never panned out into becoming that, but. I agree. The Cardinals are going to be a tough team. And they lost Albert Pujols.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're still doing great.
Well, and then, the Yankees, of course, everybody's perennial favorites. I saw A-Rod was like 1 for 16.
He's doing horrible. Robinson Cano doing well. They all decided to take... I don't know what happened during the regular season, but they've all been doing well. Jeter's now out for the rest of the year. And I really don't see them beating Detroit. Detroit's got a nice young team out there full of talent, full of hungry talent.
It's time, just time to pass the torch, so to speak.
The Yankees don't pass torches. They just reload.
They just reload, yeah.
They just reload every year. They're just going to go buy themselves a center fielder or buy themselves a third baseman.
That's why they're perennial favorites.
Exactly.
They spend the money.
They spend the money every year. That was reading this one report that there's teams that don't make any money, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. There's teams that make a decent profit like Seattle, Texas. Then there's teams that actually spend money because they got the resources like Boston and St. Louis and the Dodgers.
There you go.
And then there's the Yankees. They're just head and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to spending money.
Wow, that's really something else. Well, so who's your pick to win it all?
You know what? I'm going to go on Detroit on this one.
You know what?
Because the problem is Detroit, every 15 years, Detroit has a really great year. Like they win in 84, they won in 72. They just always seem to come back and have a really awesome year, and I think this is going to be it.
Those Cardinals have a tendency to really play some ball when they need to. But it's almost like they have to have their backs up against the wall in order to come out and perform. Oh, we're down 6-0. All right.
Okay. Now let's
go. Bring on the cavalry and let's get it going. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I love to not agree with you, so I'm going to go with the.
You're going to go with the Cardinals? If it's the Cardinals-Detroit World Series, I think that's going to be an entertaining World Series.
Well, we'll come back and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh my God, this weekend.
I know where you're going with this. Because you started off with Texas.
Well, college football. Texas got...
Wow, did they get blown out on the Red River rivalry. They were beat up and down the field.
And the score is not even reflective of the whooping that they sustained over the weekend. I mean, it was 63-21, but I guarantee you, if you look at all the stats, they tripled and quadrupled just about everything. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to Texas just doing just that to all the other teams. And something has happened here in the last few years. Texas is not that same powerful team that they did.
I think they're going to get better simply because just looking at something like Penn State, with them not being able to get the recruiting, so you figure a couple of those kids are going to have to come to Texas. Mac Brown's always been a fantastic recruiter.
I agree.
I mean, it's going to be very simple when you're going to some 18-year-old kid's house and be like, hey, want to have a fun time in Austin for 4 years?
and maybe get an education.
Yeah, we got 6th Street. Like, who doesn't want to spend 4 years in Austin? That's why USC always had those great years. Like, hey, want to party in L.A.? Heck yeah, I want to party in L.A. I want to party in Miami.
Yeah, well, that's reminiscent of my 6 weeks in Louisiana.
The 6 weeks you went, that half semester in college.
I could only handle one semester, man. It was. I didn't learn anything except how to. Well, never mind. Anyway, but that was a heck. But I tell you what, A&M also A&M came through with flying colors.
I thought A&M was just gonna get their butts handed to them moving to the SEC. In what was strictly a money move because they're making something like $10 million.
Yeah, they got
extra.
To move. And who's leading the league right now? Who's leading the conference?
Who is leading the conference?
I thought they were undefeated.
They might be.
I don't know. That's right.
They lost one game. They did lose one game against Florida.
I didn't see that game, so technically,
I didn't see
them lose.
Oh, all right. So you didn't see them lose. All right.
No,
so
what
happens in Roy's world is not the only one.
Roy's world. Roy's world. Roy's world. But there are some other Texas teams that really did. TCU's been playing some good ball.
TCU's nice.
Houston, the Cougars, I thought over the weekend did.
After finally having all those great wins in the '90s, it looks like they're coming back
here again. So Texas football's. I think there's a resurgence in it. I think.
Now, if we could just get SMU back in the game.
Well, they had their time in the limelight last year or the year before, so they'll come back. But breaking up the conferences like that, what did you think about that move?
Breaking up the Big 12, it's one of those. Again, it's all a pure money move. How many more millions are you gonna make? And once Texas started their own network, everyone's like, okay, we got to go with whatever's doing. And the Pac-10 was like, we need something to go along with UCLA and USC and Oregon, and then every once in a while Washington has a great year. So it's just a matter of, I like the new mega conference. The new mega conferences, I really do. I think that it just makes the championship games easier to try to figure out, because now when you have the SEC, when you add more powerhouses to it, you're more likely to have a better championship game because they went through so much competition just to get to that section. So when you have like the big ones, I hate seeing Notre Dame coming back.
Oh, I tell you what, I like them helmets though that they use just that.
Really?
Those were nice helmets.
I'm not a Notre Dame
uniforms,
fan.
Man. I've always been because of the association. I'm Catholic, they're Catholic. Hey,
Notre Dame's Catholic.
Of course.
Really? I thought they were just a football factory, man. They were just, because once they accepted Rocket Rakib Ishmael, I think the Catholicism thing went right out the door.
Yeah, they're still a good team. And I'll always still be one of my favorites. Okay. We got UTSA also doing pretty good.
I love going to the Roadrunners games. I've only been to 2 because that's the only time I can sneak in. It's very hard to get past security at the Alamo Dome. You gotta know somebody. Yeah, I tried to go in as a valet, and then maybe I can get a free ride home after the game. But I like going to UT. They're up against Rice this weekend, right?
Yeah. And we wish them the best of luck.
They're going to be playing San Jose State next.
Oh, they're playing San Jose State. All right, San Jose. They lost. Oh, that's right. They lost to Rice.
Well,
so that now you know how many games I go to. Like I said, I went to 2. But UTSA again, it's nice having an actual Division I football program here in San Antonio for the first time ever.
Well, but I used to go watch Trinity play, Trinity Tigers. I know they're not. It's a little bit different, but they had some good teams there.
I went to one Trinity game and I realized that the bleachers at Alamo Stadium were better.
Yeah, well,
well, that's the way that works.
Speaking of better, what a segue into professional football. Now, I'm a little disappointed. This each week we have a office pool, and I'm leading.
You're leading your office pool?
I'm leading the office pools after 6 weeks. However, I took a beating this time, and I was just amazed at the outcome of some of those games. There were some that I expected, like the Cowboys, to lose.
Whatever.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I haven't been a fan in years. You're gonna have to go as far back as Staubach in order to find any time I last rooted for the Cowboys.
So those 90s games,
they have been mediocre since '95.
They won a Super Bowl in '96.
Was it '96?
They won
Excuse me, I'm off the whole year. Make it 15, 13, 12 years that they haven't done anything. They need to start.
They went 13-3, went to the second round under Wade Phillips in the second year.
And lost
to the eventual Super Bowl champions.
So that doesn't make them any better.
That makes them okay.
So then that makes the Buffalo Bills a fantastic team. Then.
Well, no,
they went to the dance 4 years in a row.
Yeah, that was a very, very good squad.
Well, but they're not remembered as being a good squad. They're remembered as losing the big game 4 years.
Hey, you got to get there.
Well, they went to the dance, man.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
They did.
Well, I'm a Texan fan, and my Texans lost. And you have made a statement. Go ahead. Tell my fans what the statement that you made about
I think the Texans finally got exposed for the posers that they are. Don't get me wrong. The Texans are a very good team. However, what you're eventually going to find out is that defense is suspect. Their linebacker core is nowhere near as good as everybody thinks it is. Teams are going to start running, and once that play action happens, you're going to see more losses. In addition, does anybody out there really think Arian Foster is going to last the whole year and that Tate Donovan's starting NFL running back full-time? No.
So basically you don't like the Texans?
I don't like the Texans to win the Super Bowl. They will make the playoffs. They will win their division, and they will be out in the second
But they're
round.
not one of your favorite teams.
They're not one of my favorite teams.
All right. Let me explain something, folks. We're going to start wrapping up the sports segment here, and this will be the last time that you see Angel on my show because he is not a Texan fan. Okay? You have to
Go
be a
Cowboys.
Texan fan to be on my show. You can go with the Cowboys all the way to Texas Stadium, buddy.
Cowboy Stadium, sir.
Hey, folks, this is Roy Lopez Jr. coming at you live 1 week at a time. Stay tuned next week. We're going to have somebody from the film industry on the show, and we might have some fun. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll find out. Angel, thanks a lot for coming out.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Appreciate it.
Lopez Jr.
Take care, folks. See you next week.